Hi everybody, it's Honest John again. Now, I know most people aren't paying much attention to the presidential campaign yet, and for good reason. And the actual election is still a long way off. But if you are paying attention, there is a stark contrast between what the Republicans are doing and the Democrats are doing. On the Democrat side, there are very few, I'm not going to say there aren't any, but there are very few personal attacks in those campaigns. What there are is a lot of position papers. Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders, and the other Democratic candidates who aren't registering in the polls at all. But one thing that they are doing is that they are issuing papers that explain their policies, what they will do if they become president. Raise the minimum wage, lift the cap on Social Security taxes, raise taxes on the rich, expand health care, improve police training, and fund body cameras for police to cut down on abuse. Rebuild our infrastructure. You name an issue, and there's a good chance there's a Democrat with a detailed plan what they're going to do about it. They even have a plan to get the big donors out of political campaigns. The Republicans have made some vague policy pronouncements which are basically about feeding red meat to the base. They have nothing to do with reality. If anybody thinks Donald Trump is going to get Mexico to pay for a wall he wants to build, well, I've got a bridge in Brooklyn I'd like to sell you. And they all say that they're going to tear up the deal with Iran, which means basically starting another unnecessary war. And they think that talking tough to our enemies, and our allies too, is going to have an effect. Well, they pretty much stopped listening to that shit a long time ago. The rest of what the GOP wants to do are things the American people pretty much don't want. Ending Social Security and Medicare, and taking away health care from millions of Americans. Getting rid of the minimum wage, ending union rights, taking away a woman's right to choose, of course, and denying them access to contraception, and of course huge tax breaks for the rich, which ultimately are paid for by the rest of us. None of these ideas are winners. Surprisingly, there is one exception. Donald Trump has today came out with a tax plan that evidently has some details on it. I haven't had the time to go over it yet, but credit where it's due. However, unless Donald Trump, in his tax plan, included getting rid of the provision for real estate brokers, which allows him to pay no taxes at all, I'm not buying it. So, but for the majority of the Republican field, there is none of that. And you know what? They really can't sell their ideas to the American people. So there's nothing left but personal attacks and the politics of personal destruction. And that's been a Republican staple for years now. For example, the GOP have been trying to manufacture a scandal about Hillary Clinton for ages. I mean, Hillary and Bill Clinton. It started with, of course, the Vince Foster suicide, which they tried to paint as a murder. And there was a real estate deal. The Clintons had really done nothing wrong with that. I forget the name of the place that the deal is made out of. Of course, then there's Benghazi. You know, the Republicans have had 7 hearings that have all found that Hillary Clinton did nothing wrong. But now they're having an 8th hearing. You know what the real scandal is there? How much money the Republicans have wasted for their own political gain. And then there's the email so-called scandal, which it turns out that Hillary Clinton did nothing wrong there either. And of course, this politics of personal destruction has now circled in on them. So now they're going after each other in the same way because they have no real substance, no ideas, and they're just sniping back and forth. It's like a gallery of trolls. Thanks for listening.